Back on One Bills Live, Chris Brown along with Steve Tasker as we begin the second half of the first hour of the program here. And as promised, joining us now, NFL Coach of the Year finalist, head coach Sean McDermott of the Buffalo Bills. So, Coach, first and foremost, congratulations on that. That is elite company to be in. So, I know you're not big on personal accolades, but it's got to be very humbling to be in that select group.
Yeah, Chris, it is. It is an honor. But like most of the awards or most of the recognition, I think it's truly a team deal, and you don't get that recognition without winning games, and you don't win games without a team and a great staff and great support in our building. So I'm much appreciative of that, and I think it's great to be recognized. Great for our team, great for Buffalo, and the recognition that our team gets with it.
Have you ever been to any of those big award kind of ceremonies that they do now? I mean, they literally roll out the red carpet. Have you ever been to any of those?
I think you know me well enough to know that answer.
It's right in your wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not a big red carpet guy.
Yeah.
You should show up in a pink tux this year, just to blow it out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward.
Change your image.
That's what I was like, kind of like a Dumb and Dumber
Or how about
type.
this?
I don't know if that's in Coach's color wheel,
Or
pink.
how about just like this? Just come in, instead of a gray sweatsuit hoodie, just put like a bright pink gray. You know what I mean? Just blow it out.
Kind of really grab the attention of
There you go.
of the public and the media.
Don't do that.
That's right up my alley.
I got to tell you though, it's got to be a little bit gratifying at least to know that the franchise you took over 3 years ago and where it was and the history that it had in recent years to where it is now as being one of those teams where head coaches, players at the Pro Bowl, media people, and probably just the regular fan bases from around the country are saying, wow, the Bills are, you got to watch them now. They're a team that is a contender.
Yeah. No, it is. It's a credit to all the hard work that's gone into it, you know, and you know, as I said when we got here, there's good people in this building. I believe that. I've seen that now firsthand, and it's truly been a team effort. We've been through ups and downs, and that's part of the journey, and we've enjoyed that journey. And but it is satisfying to know that our players have gotten the recognition that they've deserved to this point, and they're going to get more. And our staff the same way, and it's great to see the Buffalo Bills back on the map.
Yeah, because you're not alone, Coach. I mean, we've got Tre'Davious White up for Defensive Player of the Year. You got Lorenzo Alexander up for Walter Payton Man of the Year. Yeah. So it's nice to see these accolades kind of come in Buffalo's way here. And, you know, obviously, as you mentioned, that's part of, you know, winning. Once you start winning, you start getting those personal accolades along with that stuff. Did you catch any of the Pro Bowl this past week with some of your guys running around out there? Or
yeah,
no?
You know, I saw Tre'Davious in the weight room this morning, and he's back and already working out again, which is cool. And I said to him, I said, hey, I caught a couple series of the game, and so we bantered back and forth a little bit, and I was evaluating his technique, and
there's not a whole lot of technique in those games.
Right. Well, it took a couple plays for me to see what type of game is going on.
Critique his intensity,
That's right. So
no doubt.
I think it's great experience, right, for Tre'Davious, who's in his first Pro Bowl, for Tremaine, and then obviously Andre as well. Great honor for Andre to be there again, and just a great confidence booster, if you will, for our young players more than anything. And I think that having been to the Pro Bowl before as a coach, I think 4 or 5 times, the best thing you can pick up is the habits of the guys. You watch them, you watch how, and I know it's the Pro Bowl, right? So people that say, well, it's not as intense, and it's not, but even to just be around that caliber of player and to watch those guys, most of whom, believe it or not, stay on that schedule and that routine during the week, because even though it's not as intense of a game, it is still a game, and they're still on stage.
Yeah, and it's interesting, too, because I remember you get an idea of what their mindset was during the regular season, and the commitment and the things the details that they felt were important were really telling and inspirational to guys who hadn't been exposed to it or to share it with them. And even in casual conversations, you pick up things from great players about their mindset and the things they think about that is really helpful to you in your own preparation. One of the things I got to ask you about, we talk about Tre'Davious and all the quality people that are in the building. Lorenzo Alexander up for Walter Payton Man of the Year. It's kind of indicative now that you've got guys like Tre'Davious and Lorenzo in particular it shows you the kind of atmosphere you're looking to foster here. And just talk about Lorenzo. It's like the 3rd straight year he's a finalist.
Well, I mean, it's just to be around Lorenzo for now the better part of 3 years. What an amazing young man he is, if I can use the word young in the context of life, right? Young, maybe not in football terms, but what a great family he has and support system behind him. And then, a couple things that stand out about Lorenzo are just the way that he carried himself consistently throughout the season, the ups and downs. And to have the heart that he has for the community. It's one thing to win games and want to win games and have that type of desire and passion, but to have it also off the field and to watch Lorenzo just model that servant leadership and to go into the downtown areas and the schools and just to do what he's done and the way that he's gone about his business is not only great for our community, but it's also great for our young football team.
I think you have enough leadership in that locker room to kind of help fill the void there, maybe not with one person per se, but positionally, Coach, on defense, now you've got a void to fill there as well. Do you see that as a position? Because he was kind of unique. He was kind of a dual role player for you, both at linebacker and then in your pass rush packages. Is that a role that you think can be filled by one person, or do you anticipate that that's something that may have to be filled by a couple of people to kind of cover the gamut there that he provided for you guys?
Well, it's a tough role. I mean, just like some of the other players, Kyle Williams a year ago, and now Lorenzo, I don't think you ever replace a player like that or a person like that. Right. And so it may take more than one person to do that. Brandon has done a great job trying to help us do that over the last couple of years, and I'm confident that that'll remain the case. And I mean, it's a niche role when you talk about what he did on the field for us, rushing the passer, playing at the linebacker level, and then some of the special teams as well, right? So it's going to be hard to find. I know Brandon is out there looking and will do a great job with that. And so, but that's also where developing our young players, not only as players but also as leaders, and that's an important part of us not only sustaining success but also continuing to take our success to new levels.
So you talk about these guys like Lorenzo Alexander and Kyle Williams in the past, and the guys you're trying to develop as mentors. You had a mentor in your coaching life from 1999 through 2010. You were with Andy Reid in Philly, and now you're Big Red as they call him. Is coaching the Super Bowl. What'd you learn from him? What are your thoughts about him getting a chance to coach in another Super Bowl?
Yeah, it's funny because when we text back and forth, usually just during the season, it's just text, and so he'll text me after one of our games or vice versa, and he is known as Big Red, and he'll text me, "Hey, Redhead," and so. It's satisfying to watch him have the success that he's had this season, to get to where he's gotten to with his football team, because he's been through so much, right, off the field, on the field, and he's just a man that refuses to cut corners. I mean, he's consistent as you would want a coach to be, and as an ex-player in the league, you know how important that is, and he's just done a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I've had production meetings with him when I was a broadcaster, and he was he's a great guy. And this week, he's got 9 grandkids now at this point, and he was asked about his grandkids, and he said, this is his quote. The guy's becoming a national treasure. It's hilarious. So this is his quote. They, talking about his grandkids, "They keep you young, and at the same time, they make you feel old. It's kind of like sweet and sour pork." Right?
Yeah.
Would he always have a line like that here and there?
Oh, he doesn't always let the public see what he really is, but his personality, his sense of humor behind closed doors is unreal. I mean, he's funny within the team when he needs to be. And I'll tell you this, one of the things I've learned from him is the way that he just protects his team. And with the media, and he wants to give the media, he understands that they have a job to do, right, like we all do, and he respects that. But at all costs, he will defend and protect his football team, and that's served his teams well over the years.
So you were assistant defensive backs coach in that Super Bowl 39 when the Eagles played the Patriots on Andy Reid's staff. I don't want you to maybe answer for him, but if you had to look at the way that game unfolded and how everything played out, what do you think Coach Reid can kind of pull from that to apply to this second opportunity in a Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, knowing Andy like I do, he took great notes from that first experience in the Super Bowl. It was Jacksonville, 2003, 2004 season, I believe, or 2004-05 season there. But that was a close game, really, through the better part of 3 quarters, and against really with 2 good football teams. And so I'm sure Andy has pulled out all those notes this week and some last week as he went into the experience here. And I would just say overall that he will not leave a stone unturned as he prepares his football team for this game.
Yeah, and we were talking about a lot of other stuff. I want to ask you, too, about this offseason and how it's gone. When your team starts to have success, it's hard to keep it together. You got a list of free agent guys and guys you have a lot of affection for, and guys like Lorenzo retiring. Also, your staff. Brian Daboll was in a finalist for the Cleveland Browns job. I mean, you got to tip your hat to him, kind of give him a pat on the back for being recognized as that. How difficult is it going to be? And I said the team's going to look different next year. Yeah, you got a core. You got a staff that's going to reign and say you got a new defensive line coach in Eric Washington. It's hard to say goodbye to those guys and to know that it's going to change and hopefully change for the better, but you got to build it and start from scratch.
Yeah,
again.
and that's why, Steve, Chris, every year is new. You know, it sounds like an adage, but it's real. I mean, every year is new because every team is new, and so the challenges, you got to start over again, and so you try and carry as much over as you can. But as far as people go, in this case, coaches, we're fortunate to have Eric Washington here. Excuse me, and we have a long history together, and he's has a proven track record of developing players, young and old. And then with Brian, this is not the first time a team has come calling this offseason more than any to this point. In my tenure as the head coach, people have reached out and said, hey, what about this coach? What about that coach? And you love it because it means that people respect what you do and how you're doing it and whatnot. The hard part is keeping it all together, and that's what you have to do if you want to continue to grow.
Speaking of guys doing things the right way, defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, Steve Spagnuolo, who is a former colleague of yours on that Eagles staff under Andy Reid. I mean, what he's done to turn that defense around over the second half of the season. Again, I know you've got your ear to the ground with what you're doing here during the course of the season, but when you get to the end of the season and you have a chance to maybe explore what else is going on in the league, when you have a coach and a colleague like that really can kind of make that kind of a change for the better with his respective unit, just from coach to coach, is that something that maybe you take a closer look at? I mean, we always hear copycat league, this, that, and the other. And I'm not saying you're copying what he's doing, but when you see another coach in the league have success to that level, does that draw eyeballs from other coaches in the league to take a look at in the offseason with the various projects that you undertake?
Yeah, it's really impressive what he's been able to do within one season, to your point, really transforming that defense. And look, they've done a fantastic job. Brett Veach, their general manager, of getting talent onto the roster, and then some of the roster getting healthy through the season.
Yeah.
Having said that, it takes a rudder to steer the ship, and Steve has done a great job with that. Spags, as he's referred to in our league, and just an incredible job. And the growth mindset that we embrace here, that'll be a big part of our off-season studies and the off-season conversations. And our growth is to say, hey, identifying not only the Chiefs' defense but other defenses, other systems out there, offense, special teams, the same way of. Hey, what did you do? What did you like that worked? And what would you recommend? And so that's part of our growth this offseason.
Last thing I got for you is, so we're, Super Bowl week and this offseason is about to kick off in full force. What's on your plate? Like, what is your project of the week? Or what are you and Brandon Beane talking about, your coaching staff? At this time of year, what do you do?
Well, it's a mixed bag, really.
Right.
There's free agency on the horizon right now. There's also understanding our roster and making sure that we retain as many of our guys as we've discussed that we can, and keeping it as together as possible. That's key. There's also growing schematically. We're evaluating our schemes, our systems, as we just discussed, and also finding other places by which to learn from. And so we talked this morning. We actually had a presentation this morning of an outside person come in and present to our staff of the growth mindset, how you improve, how you get better, and challenging us as well, to each and every one of us to improve. And and continue to grow. And that's got to be a full organizational belief and mindset and approach. There's a standard, and then you continue to raise that bar every year.
Well, Coach, look, good luck this weekend. We hope the vote falls your way.
Appreciate
but
it.
what is your schedule here, Coach, for the weekend? You going to be down? You're going to stay for the game, or are you going to
Well,
head
I'll
back?
probably get my hair done early Saturday morning.
That's going to take a little while.
It will, right? Hair and makeup Saturday morning, right?
You got barbers standing in
Basically,
line.
out of the shower, towel,
right.
done.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm good. So that'll take all about 5 minutes.
Right.
So I'll be good from there. I don't know what I'll do with the other 8 hours
Yeah.
before the show, but
Think about,
I'm
think
guessing
about
you
the
fly down
wardrobe.
tomorrow, though, right? You got to get down there tomorrow.
yeah,
'cause
we'll
the
fly
thing's
down
Saturday, and then
right. Yeah, we'll fly down and
Think about
and-
the red carpet, though. You got to make a fashion statement. I'm
know.
telling you, man.
Yeah.
Think
I
about
got
it.
to
Maybe
think
go
about
bow
either
tie.
a fashion or a move on the red carpet.
That's right, yeah.
I don't know,
Break
so we'll
dance,
see
yeah,
and
something like that, something
and,
very 90s.
try and give a shout out to Buffalo when I'm
Yeah,
down
there you
there.
go.
You know,
Perfect.
so no,
Awesome.
it'll be a great and exciting trip.
Yeah,
Great seeing you.
enjoy it,
Thanks for
Coach.
coming in.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, so enjoy that, and we'll be keeping an eye on that for sure prior to the game. Saturday night NHL award show, and Coach McDermott obviously a part of it as a finalist for NFL Coach of the Year. Congrats to him. We'll take a break, but be back on the other side with Joel Corey, NFL cap analyst, as he kind of breaks down where things are headed here in the offseason, including the potential for musical chairs at quarterback with all the free agents at that position this offseason. It's One Bills Live from One Bills Drive. This is Buffalo Bills Radio.